Rad Power Bikes recently released their newest edition of their popular RadMini lineup with the RadExpand 5. Rad dropped the Mini from the name and went for Expand instead. This change just makes more sense since the name RadMini implies that the bike is smaller in some way, but in reality they are fully sized bikes that just have the ability to fold in half. Let's go over the changes Rad decided to make to the RadExpand 5 from previous generation models, the RadMini 4, which is their high step model, and the RadMini Step Through 2. Let's also see how the RadExpand 5 stacks up against the current RadRunner 2 model. The most notable change is that Rad decided to only release a step-through frame design with the RadExpand, instead of having both a high step and a step-through option. So at first glance, the RadExpand is strikingly similar frame-wise to the Mini Step Through 2. They share many of the same measurements, listing the same recommended range of rider heights, standover height, and handlebar reach. A big change to the Expand is that the front fork suspension has been completely replaced with a rigid steel fork. This of course saved Rad in production cost, as well as saved almost 5 pounds from the weight of the bike. The large LCD display screen was also removed and replaced with the same simplified LED display that the RadMission and RadRunner models currently use. As a result, the Expand will only have 4 levels of pedal assist instead of 5, as the Minis did. Overall, not a huge loss, honestly. However, many riders prefer to know how fast and how far they are riding, so that is a bit of a disappointment. A display upgrade option is available on Rad's website at an additional cost if you would like the speedometer and odometer back. Rad also made the choice of removing the foldable aluminum pedals and instead went with a composite or plastic alternative that doesn't fold down to save on space while storing. But don't be fooled into thinking that the only changes to the new version were just removing features. Rad chose to give the Expand an integrated rear rack right out of the box, which is available at an extra cost with the RadMinis. The Expand was also given a low-rise BMX handlebars instead of the long neck stem and straight bars of the Minis. This change gives you the abilities to tilt the bars back and forward based on your riding preference. The Mini's 3-inch tires that had more of a street tread were switched out for a wider 4-inch knobby tread on the Expand. I'd assume the fatter tires were there to compensate for the front fork suspension removal, to give the Expand a more smooth, comfortable ride. There are a few minor changes to the Expand as well, most of which seem to be more cost-cutting in nature. Rad decided to go with rubber grips on the Expand instead of the faux leather grips that came with the Minis. Personally, I prefer the rubber grips over the fake leather ones since, in my experience, the pleather ones tend to really move and twist around while riding. Rad also chose to remove the Shimano branded shifter and Tektro brakes and opted to go with lesser known brands such as Microshift or vague, non-specific versions. This was probably also done due to the supply chain issues and component shortages that have been plaguing all bike companies for the last few years. Most Rad bikes have had the same basic taillight/brake light for years, but it seems that they decided to shake things up a bit with a newly designed version. The design reminds me of the Wonder Woman logo, or the Van Halen logo. I definitely want to add one of these to my Runner Plus if they're available and compatible, purely for the look. At its core, the main electrical components haven't changed. The Expand still has the 750 watt motor, 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery, and presumably the same controllers. We'd have to assume since Rad never gives the details on controller specs. However, it's interesting to note that the RadExpand has been listed as compatible on the RadRunner's LCD display upgrades on their site. So we can assume that the Expand and the Runner use similar, if not the exact same controllers on both e-bikes. I'm a bit disappointed that Rad hasn't decided to expand, forgive the pun, their battery sizes with this new model and are still only offering a 14 amp hour capacity. I can of course understand the choice that was made to keep the old external Rad batteries, since a bigger battery would add more to the cost, which is what they were definitely trying to avoid with this release. I can only assume that new larger batteries will be offered in future model launches, hopefully. Because of the step-through only frame, similar features, and price point, many have drawn comparisons between the RadRunner 2 and the RadExpand 5. Personally, I feel that buying a RadRunner 2 is hard to suggest now that the RadExpand is so similar and has even more features. The RadRunner 2 does not come with a set of fenders. For those, you have to upgrade to the RadRunner Plus or purchase them separately for $89. However, the Expand comes with a set right out of the box. The Expand and the Runner share similar BMX-styled handlebars, and the only real difference in the bars is that the Expand has a lower rise at almost 7 inches, and the Runner bars are at a height of 10 inches. It's noticeable, but not a huge variance between the two. Personally, the biggest advantage that the RadExpand has over the Runner, in my opinion, is that it comes with a 7-speed drivetrain, just as the RadMinis do. And the Runner is stuck with only a single speed. I think this is the biggest selling point of the Expand over the Runner 2, and in a broader sense, the Expand is almost a competitor for the Runner Plus model as well. The same LED user interface, grips, and pedals are found on the Expand and the Runner, and they share many of the same frame specifications. The one main advantage that the Runner has over the Expand is that the cargo capacity, or carry capacity of the bike itself, most notably the rear rack. The Expand has a rear rack that lists a weight capacity of 59 pounds, and the bike has a capacity of 275 pounds total, while the Runner is classified as a utility bike, has a rear rack capacity of 120 pounds and 300 pounds for the bike altogether. The big advantage of the Expand 5 when it was originally released was the low cost. Rad made decisions on features and components to lower the cost of this new model. When launched, the Expand had a starting price of $12.99, which really made it a hell of a deal, but has since raised the asking price to $14.99, which is the same as both RadMinis and the RadRunner 2. Now let's do a hypothetical and add in all the various upgrades to bring all 4 bikes to as close to the same features as we reasonably can. I'm going to round up costs just to make it easy and neat. If you add the $100 LCD to upgrade to the Expand to bring its functionality to that of the Minis, it brings its overall cost to $1,600. The rear rack is available for $80, which would bring the Minis up to be on par with the RadExpand with the display upgrade, $20 cheaper at $1,580 total. Runner comes out as the most expensive after upgrades. We'd have to add $100 for the LCD display and another $90 to add a set of fenders, making the Runner's final cost after upgrades $1,690, and you're still only stuck with a single speed. So with all things being equal, the Runner is really the worst deal out of the 4 bikes, and between the Expand and the Minis, there's only a $20 variation. So, if you were looking for a complete rundown of the main differences between the older RadMini 4, RadMini Step Through 2, and even the newer RadRunner 2 models compared to the new RadExpand model, those are pretty much it. At the time of me making this video, which is March 2022, the Mini still seems to be the best bang for your buck, but only by a very slim margin. Keep in mind though, I can almost guarantee that now that the RadExpand is out on the market, the Minis will not be around for long. I really think Rad Power Bikes took a good step to provide a newer economy-priced e-bike when it originally released the Expand at $12.99, especially since they had raised the price of all their other e-bikes at the beginning of 2022. But since this price was raised to $14.99, it's hard recommended over the older Mini models. In comparison, it's much easier to recommend the new RadExpand 5 over the RadRunner 2, which is saying something since over the last few years, the Runner 1 and the Runner 2 had been Rad's bread and butter and all-around best deal, one of their really most popular bikes. At the same cost of $14.99, the Runner still has the ability to carry a passenger, what makes it stand out in that respect, but is really at a disadvantage when it comes to the single pedal speed. The choice is yours as to which Rad e-bike is best for you. However, I'm pretty sure that no matter which model you decide on, you'll love riding it. Please like this video and subscribe if you'd like more videos such as this. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I always do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.